If God carries a smartphone, it's an iPhone 4. Or so you might think, with all the breathless hype that seems to be even more over-torqued around the launch of this iPhone. Maybe it's the fact that the lost prototype triggered a response typically only seen in Central American republics around voting time, or that it arrives in an era of smartphone and tablet fever. But whatever the reason, we're going to cut against the grain. This is top 5 reasons to pass on the iPhone 4. Number 5, no 4G. In spite of some numerical similarity in the naming, the iPhone 4 does not run on a 4G network. Now that might just be theoretically interesting if it weren't for Sprint's Evo 4G. That phone does use the more advanced network, and AT&T and Verizon will light up their 4G networks and phones in the months ahead. Then we're all going to be reminded why 3G isn't really broadband. Yet that's all your iPhone 4 will handle. Number 4, goodbye unlimited data. AT&T is no longer writing new contracts with unlimited flat rate data. So if you change carriers to come over and get an iPhone 4, you're going to have to pay some kind of tiered pricing for data, with all the complication and vigilance against overage charges that go with that. Don't like it. Number 3, Verizon. Yeah, I know, an iPhone on Verizon has been just around the corner about as long as Lindsay Lohan's sobriety. But we really think the iPhone could be coming to Verizon in less than a year. And that's almost too good to imagine. Number 2, the flip side of number 3. 2 more years of AT&T and their new higher $325 early termination fee. I know, AT&T works fine for many of you, but they didn't become the butt of all wireless industry jokes by accident. Sure, maybe AT&T does handle several times more wireless data than any other carrier, and it still isn't my problem. Fix your network. But the time for that passed years ago. Now it's time for you and me to spend our wireless dollars ethically. Before we get to the number 1 reason you can yawn at the Apple fanboys as they stand in line, let's take a quick peek at the 2 smartphones CNET thinks are as good or better than what the Apple guys carry. The HTC Droid Incredible runs on Verizon, and the Evo 4G found on Sprint. Okay, at number 1, the top reason you don't need to rush out and get all lathered up about iPhone 4, Apple lied. All this world-changing stuff is kind of a crock. Now, most of us who do this for a living came away from the iPhone 4 announcement thinking, is that it? Sure, 2 cameras, lush display, video calling, multitasking, HD video, A4 CPU, all tasty upgrades. But I'd venture to say at least half of those are playing catch-up with the competition, and the rest don't really change the playing field. There are too many other great smartphones out there to make a unilateral decision. So you can relax, let God and the fanboys work out the bugs on the iPhone 4 while you wait to see what plays out on 4G networks, whatever HTC and RIM have up their sleeves, and maybe even look for an iPhone on Verizon. Oh, by the way, if you want the good news about the iPhone 4, check out another Top 5 here on CNETTV.com. Top 5 reasons to rush out and get the iPhone 4. Yeah, I see it both ways. I'm Brian Cooley. Talk to you next time for another CNET Top 5.